We're going to get started. Commissioner Layden will be joining us in just a few minutes. So just want to welcome you all and good to see you. I am going to go ahead and get us started with Caroline's update on communications.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning. I just wanted to give kind of a brief communication update. We're 3 quarters into 2025 already. It's crazy. But on our first slide, I just wanted to kind of review what our communication goals were for this year. So if we could go to the next slide. Really this year we were focusing on fundraising and business engagement. And so spoiler alert, we have reached the fundraising goal. Thanks a lot to Kirsten and her team at DCCF and then everybody else who has donated or shared things on social media to encourage those donations. But we'll dive a little bit deeper into some of our communication tactics this year as well. Next slide, please. One of the first things we did this year was to kind of revamp the Homeless Initiative's webpage and web section to make it a little bit easier to navigate and include links to this executive committee meeting to make it just a little bit easier for folks to navigate. So I encourage you to check that out. On the next slide, one of the things that we were really excited to put on the webpage was to integrate some of the success stories that Tiffany and the Heart team are seeing and experiencing. I think that is the most powerful piece of this webpage. So certainly take some time to go read those stories. They're really quite inspiring from the work that our Heart team is doing, and we will continue to update those. We've also been sharing these on social media as a way to encourage people to donate so that they can see kind of exactly what their donation is accomplishing for individuals in our community. And then we also, on the next couple pages, we can flip through those pretty quickly, but those are just more screenshots from our new web section, including a hub for all of the news that's gone out this year, the implementation of text messaging and things like that. From a data perspective, once we launched the new kind of redesigned web section, we did see a pretty good increase in the number of folks who are accessing the site, and you can see the numbers here. This is through third quarter. So we're excited to see kind of average engagement time around that 50 seconds. That's an interesting statistic because you don't want it to be too low, but you don't want it to be too high. So we feel like right there in the middle around that 40 to 50 second time frame is kind of where we want to be. And then on the next slide, we just have some social media data. We're continuing kind of our regular hits about the Heart team and how to access them. We've done 12 posts on Nextdoor, and you can see the impression count here. That's the number of people who have seen the information. We can dive a little bit deeper in the future if there's a desire of, likes, shares, clicks, and all that. But this is at least the number of eyeballs that have seen information about Heart on social media. And then on the next slide, we have a very strong email subscription list for the Homeless Initiative. We do regular meeting notices just from a transparency perspective to invite people to participate. And that open rate of 57% is well above average. For government email campaigns, the average open rate is right around 30 to 40%, depending on which figures you're looking at. So tremendous open rate on most of these email campaigns, which tells us we're reaching the people who want this information. And then on the next slide, the most recent update we have is that more than $6,000 has been raised so far this year. So we'll continue that push, and in a few slides, we'll talk about the February Douglas Has Heart campaign that we're working on with the EDC and DCCF. From a business resources perspective, I know the Heart team has done a tremendous job going door to door. We'll be working with the EDC to put together a packet of information. And we can go to the next slide. I detail this a little bit. But in partnership with the EDC, we're going to schedule a meeting with the local chambers so that we can get these packets out to the brick and mortar stores kind of ahead of the holidays just telling them kind of maybe a letter from this group, encouraging them to engage with Heart if they need to, a script for calling Heart and kind of what to expect when you make that phone call or send that text. And then we have some redesigned flyers that we've used throughout this year that I think this group has seen that we can include, just to make sure they feel prepared to engage Heart if they find a community member in need. And then the last slide is a quick preview of what is to come in February. So in partnership with the EDC and DCCF, we are planning to launch a pretty robust fundraising campaign, obviously around Valentine's Day, playing on the Heart theme. But the thought is, if you've seen like the Children's Miracle Network balloons or the shamrocks that are for sale at local businesses, we would like to sell hearts to help the homeless engagement team. This is the initial draft, and certainly if you have any feedback, we'd love to hear it. The goal would be to get these out to at least 30 businesses throughout Douglas County, and they could sell those for $1, $5, or $10, which is a donation to Douglas Has Heart. And then as part of this, kind of what businesses get in exchange is that we will advertise on our platforms where to buy a heart. So if you want a cup of coffee, there's a list of places to go to get a cup of coffee and buy a heart, where to maybe do your grocery shopping if you're looking to help. So by January, we're hoping to have these here to hand out and also have the campaign pretty well fleshed out for you all to see kind of in the flesh in January before it launches in early February. We will also be asking for your help and participation and obviously getting the word out, but then also preparing for a press conference to launch this campaign probably in late January, early February. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Hi, just wanted to give a quick update as well. Apologies for walking in late, but I have had a couple conversations with some corporate partners that are very interested in the campaign as well already. So really, really exciting in printing. So I think we're off to a really good start.
This is exciting.
We are very excited about this campaign. So looking forward to showing more of it. And also thanks in person to Kirsten for all of your help and support and getting the nitty gritty of this together. We can't do any of the fun marketing and advertising without the implementation, which is coming from DCCF. So.
Okay. Well, thank you. I think I'm looking forward to this. I think this will be wonderful. Does anybody else have any questions regarding this? Okay, thank you. Okay, we are going to move on to, we have a lot of exciting things on the agenda today. We are going to move on to the Aurora Regional Navigation Campus, and I am going to turn it over to Jim Gobel-Becker, and he is with Advanced Pathways and the operator for the Aurora Regional Navigation Campus. He's going to give us kind of an update on that. I know that we had teams that the Heart team and other representatives were at the community open house yesterday, which Jim's going to tell us about. Sounds like it was very, very successful. So Jim, I will pass it off to you.
Great, thank you. It's a pleasure to be with everyone this morning. We did have our open house last week. We had a ribbon cutting the week before. Governor Polis, Lieutenant Governor, and other elected officials also attended that and be able to give them a tour. And for those who've been there, and it seems like there was about 300 or so, maybe more last night. Once you walk in, it's kind of a wow moment because it's just big. It's just large. And we're really excited to be able to share what a vision from a few years ago is actually now opening up on Monday. So Monday is the first day where we have unhoused adults over 18. Welcome to be able to not only have housing in a secure place, but also to be able to receive services. The facility, we use the word significant completion. So it's mostly done, but there's always a little something that needs to be done somewhere. And so we're working through some of those. Some furniture things still need to show up. Laundry machines still need to show up over the next couple of weeks, manufacturing delays or otherwise. And so that's just a part of any larger project, but significant completion at this point, and it enables us to be operational. We have the tiers. I believe everyone is familiar with those. Again, starting on Monday, the 17th. Why have I mentioned that 3 or 4 times already? Because people have already stopped by the facility asking, when do we open up? So I say, when? Monday, the 17th. We do provide the overnight services at the Day Resource Center still. We have about 120 people or so showing up each night there, but we'll start using our vans to bring people over on Monday morning. The cots still is about 285 cots, men and women, more men than women, just given the population and the census that we understand from PIC counts and otherwise. Tier 2 is about 114, and then Tier 3. Tier 3 doesn't really become active in terms of all 6 floors of the former hotel until mid-December. That's just because part of the construction schedule locks. We want to make sure things are secure. There's an elevator. We want to make sure we have the security technology in there. So there's limited movement unless there's a place where someone needs to be or supposed to be. But we will have a few people, 10 rooms starting next week on the first floor. In addition to the respite beds that should go online over the next few weeks thereafter. And then the navigation center, we have 20 plus partners, many who are here, to be able to help provide services in order for us to continue just to be that central hub to be able to refer people to whatever needs they might have. The furniture in that particular room gets installed next week. So close, just so darn next week. So that will all be together, and then partners scheduling coming in as needed. Particularly with county governments, we understand budgeting, funding is always a challenge. And so we want to be able to track through HMIS, where are people coming, so we can give a little bit more of a census of which counties people we're noticing people are arriving from, so that we can make sure we have the appropriate resources to support them. I was just going to share a couple of images of where we are right now as compared to where we were the last time I was here. So if we can go to the next slide. And we'll tap it again. So this is the welcome area. That's just literally the front door as people are beginning to come in. Next. And this is the first welcome sign, and it says, welcome, your future is built one step at a time. How can we help you move forward? And it was an edit. Originally it was, how can we help you? Question mark, and board conversations and staff conversations. It's like our theme really is about moving forward. What does that look like for each individual? How do we provide those services? What I shared yesterday in opening comments is if we can greet people with a welcome smile, open arms, and just some love and compassion, in just the open space that we have, environment really has a great impact on people's first reaction. And if the first reaction of our unhoused guests is, this is different, then we're off to a great start. Next slide. And again. This is the day center image. This is part of the day center. You'll notice that there's a grand piano that was left over by the hotel when it was purchased. It was being played last night. Actually, our facilities director plays piano, and said that there was a woman who started crying because she was so moved by the piece he was playing, which happened to be a song that he wrote for his father a couple of days before he passed away, which I had no idea about. But the music in the background was beautiful, and I'm sure there are unhoused guests who know how to play the piano. So we're going to keep it there. There's no reason for us to move it out. But you'll notice this isn't staged for an event. This is just what the day center looks like. And based upon the number of people we had last night, it looks like we can easily have a few hundred people in there. Next slide, please. Or next tap, as the case might be. There we go. So navigation center, mentioned the furniture is coming. That's the furniture that's coming. Right now it's just kind of an open room, but in the next couple of weeks here, we'll have that all put together. The idea is we have 4 training rooms. So any kind of workforce development or any kind of life skills, life training, case management, group conversations, peer recovery conversations could all happen in these training rooms. And then also 10 offices for one-on-one meetings. Next slide, please. And this will be the last slide, just 3 last images. Tap it again, please. This is the tier 1 area. This is what the cots look like in this area. I thought it'd be helpful just to see visually what in this case is about 170 cots will go into this particular spot. Next slide. This is tier 2. This is for those who, again, who are interested in receiving case management services, begin to address some of the issues that may have contributed to them being unhoused, and wanting to look at some kind of workforce, whether that's a referral to an internship program or our own program on site. It's a huge facility. We want to be able to train people with janitorial services, so we have partners to help provide that at the end of the training to get a certificate, and then therefore they can be able to use that on their resume, be able to look for other work in addition, again, to outsourcing that. And the last slide there is made for more. It's just a consistent theme that we have. We just don't believe that homelessness ends with a period. That's just a chapter, and we believe that everyone has a little bit more potential. And it's for us to help them discover and to be able to find fulfillment. And that's my update. Any questions?
I do have a question.
Please.
You mentioned the respite beds. Could you go into a little more detail there? Because I think that's a wonderful partnership and opportunity. So
Yeah.
could you talk about that a little bit more?
Sure. There are 20 respite beds. People can stay for 30 days. They have to be ambulatory to be able to take care of themselves. We don't have nursing services provided as a part of those rooms, but we are looking at opening up more of a health clinic by December-ish with Stride Community Health. They're going to be able to come in and provide some services. We still need to build out a space. That won't be till 2026, but we want to be able to have some staff on site to be able to take care of the general population, but also to be able to serve those who might be in the respite rooms. Again, there's 20 rooms right now. We're in negotiations with UC Health for at least, well, a few of those to start. But the idea is, because there's a cost associated, that the hospital system or systems would be contributing to the underwriting the cost for those.
What I was so intrigued about when you talked about this before is that previously, you know, people would have to go into a kind of state of recovery wherever they could. This will allow them to have a place to really recover and have a safe place for that.
There's wraparound services, addiction recovery services that are on site. The intention is, and we heard a couple of people say last night that, oh, we could refer people and they can be here for a bit, as opposed to having a limit as to how long they had to be a part of a program. They can actually progress and receive additional services as necessary. And giving back is also a part of that. Our tier 3 folks, we expect them to be able to share their experience with others in small groups as an example of what it is they've been able to accomplish. We've have a day center person. We have an ambassador program. They help out around the facility, but he really wants to be able to work for us. He's sober and he's committed, and so we're hiring him. We've extended an offer for him to start, and then he'll be a part of that tier 3 on the first floor starting next week. So it's not just a concept, it's actually in practice what we're already noticing. We had some of our unhoused guests help clean up the space in preparation for the events over the last couple of weeks, and I had 2 of them approach me to say how interested they are, because they really want to be able to work for an organization that cares for them the way that we have, which was fantastic, right? So concept to reality, implementation that's where it's the rubber meets the road, and the data to be able to show it. But we know initially in the very beginning with some small numbers, before we've even opened up and offered it, that there are people who are interested in doing something different.
And just to circle back, because a few years ago, I mean, when we first started the homeless initiative, several of us went down to the Springs Rescue Mission to do tours down there. And we're just really impressed with the campus approach that they had there, and kind of the transactional, I guess, process that they took to their tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. We toured their kitchens where they had the catering, and just were really impressed with a lot of the process that they had in place that allowed people to kind of move through that and move forward and become, you know, more and more independent with each step. And so I just want to circle everybody back, because and allow Jim to talk about this a little bit because it's very similar to that approach, and I think has done a fantastic job of being able to walk alongside people to get them to a place where they are able to be, you know, in a place of independence when they leave. So can you talk about that just a little bit?
Absolutely. So the Springs Rescue Mission has definitely influenced our thinking around the model. Travis and I, now the executive director, CEO, talk every few weeks about what he's doing and seeking his advice as to how, if he were to do it again with a facility of the size that we have, how would we do it differently? And so we believe that having these tiers where people are noticing that others are doing something different and they're being rewarded is important. Tier 2, we're going to have an application. So you just don't ask, can I be a part of tier 2? We actually want you to be thoughtful and writing it down. The whole piece is around that movement. You're doing something in order to be able to get something. So if you're that interested, then let's have an application. And the workforce piece of it, inspired by the Springs Rescue Mission, is how do we ease into some of the workforce training piece? People can't go from 0 to 8 hours a day working. So the first week is 4 hours a day, and then the next week is 8 hours a day. So a lot of the concepts that we saw in practice at the Springs, we're also integrating into what we're doing now. We just believe, as an organization, we never want to reinvent the wheel. We want to be able to talk to others who are having success, and they know that there are certain things that work well, like structure and accountability, and things that may not work great. That, for example, catering for us right now just doesn't make sense for us as an organization, but it's made great sense for the Springs Rescue Mission. We'll have a cohort, a training cohort for culinary in our commercial facility. That's an outsourced partner that we are having that program with, but it originated with the Springs Rescue Mission of, yeah, how do you use this commercial kitchen in order to be able to also teach skills?
Any other questions for Jim? Alyssa, you'll have to come and use a mic.
I don't think anyone knows yet, but when we talked to your people last night, you also said that pets are allowed on the campus and that each person can have up to 2 animals with them, correct?
I suppose that is. I hadn't thought about more than one pet, actually. So that's interesting news. Thank you for that. A lot of moving pieces. So Jen, so you talked, did you talk to someone in the pet section?
Yes, and they said that they would, a person using the kennel would have to volunteer 3 hours of their time a week.
Yes. Yeah, that I knew. Phew. So I believe that's true. So we're outsourcing the kennel, an organization called Over the Rainbow. And so I suppose they have a guideline for 2 pets. I've always been thinking it as 1 pet, and specifically 1 dog at this point in time. We'll start with 20 kennels, but there is an expectation that if you're there for multiple days, then you need to be able to also contribute and give back by volunteering the 3 hours. So that is true. What is not a requirement is if I'm just here today and I end up leaving tomorrow, obviously that person has left, so we can't actually implement that 3-hour guideline. But someone who is there for a few days for sure, and they're part of the workforce program, whatever that might look like for that individual, yes, the expectation is that they're also giving back.
And then they also mentioned that there would be a vet visiting each month.
Yes. Yeah, awesome. Right? I mean, it's incredible. They're a wonderful partner because there's so many details around the pet services that I was just unaware of. Because technically, given the number of kennels and the way it's set up, we have to be licensed as a boarding facility as opposed to just taking care of some dogs. Right. And the original concept was, oh, we'll have a pet kennel thing. And then it's like, no, you need a boarding license. And we have all these other things that we have to make sure we're paying attention to, which is exercise for the dogs every day. They have to be able to get outside. The fence outside has to be a certain height. And so there's a whole thing to it. And I'm so thankful that we have a partner who's managing those details for us.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for bringing that up. There's always something I forget to talk about with this because there's so many different aspects to it. That's
are
great.
Just an amazing number of amenities with this facility. And I think largely, probably serendipitously, because it is a previous hotel with a very large conference center and just so many amenities that were available. So you can have, you know, a very large commercial kitchen where you can do the kind of training that you're talking about, and the pool, correct, was
Right.
used for
Yeah.
the kenneling, which was wonderful because, you know, kind of in-floor draining and all of those sorts of things. Industrial laundry facilities. So
Yes.
anything else you would add, Jim?
Right. So hospitality track also for the future, given these industrial machines to be able to do the laundry. Because for tier 1, we have blankets. And so we need to do those every day. So if we are at full capacity, it's 285 or so blankets every day. That's a lot of blankets. That's just a lot of laundry. And so there's multiple pieces to the maintenance, the daily maintenance, and then the larger offerings that we're providing. And as I just modeled, if I don't know something, I'll let you all know. And we'll figure it out. That's the type of partner we want to be with the community, is we want to learn from folks. And if we haven't thought of something, love the question, and we'll make sure we get an answer to it.
One more question, and then I will let you off the hook.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about the 20 plus, you said 20 plus partners coming in, providing like kind of those supportive services types of thing. Can you talk a little bit about kind of the variety of different partners that will come in and provide that support, what you'll have in-house?
Yeah. So there are two groupings the way I think about it. One is for our day center services, and then the other is for the workforce development services. So next chapter, for example, is coming in doing small groups around addiction recovery, life skills. That's part of the day center piece of things. That also includes some evening workshops or group conversations for those in tier 1, because they can enter after 4 p.m., lights out at 10 p.m. That's a lot of time if you're coming in at 4 p.m. to just be around. And so we want to provide opportunities for people to be able to have some of the other groups. So next chapter is one of those, for example. We have some who are providing the workforce development training, so janitorial training as one example, culinary as another. And then those who are helping out with workforce development, writing resumes, being able to attend online workshops like AD Works, for example, having access and making sure we're referring folks. And then we have enough demand where we have a bunch of people, then staff can come up and be able to present there also. Mental health services, there's an organization called Jettison MD. So there's some online virtual services that can be provided, and mental health services can be provided as some examples there.
Great. Well, thank you so much. The other thing I really thought that was impressive when I went and visited was the thought that they've put into the safety and security for the residents that are there. I know that there are definitely cameras everywhere, but also, you know, you do have to go through security when you come in to ensure, you know, there's nothing coming in. It's a safe environment. I think that one of the things that we often hear from clients that are utilizing this type of shelter is that they're concerned about being in this environment. And I think that there has been a lot of thought towards making this a safe environment. And I'm sure that there will be more that happens along the way, but I think that they've put a lot of effort into making that a safe place and feel safe and safe for the community as well.
That's great to hear that you noticed that also. Single point of entry, everyone has to come through one entrance. And then we manage everything with people walking around the perimeter and going through the building. We have zones, so those are closed off depending on the time of day. It's a third-party vendor that we use, have been very very active and engaged in looking at all of our processes. Aurora Police Department has reviewed and approved all of those. So we feel like given the size of this, security is going to be an ongoing issue, particularly as we're looking to serve women coming off the streets. They need to be able to feel safe. And we want to give a feeling of welcome, open space on the way in, but also secure space to know that we're paying attention. And we have a lot of eyes, including the cameras, that are kind of watching everything. Our surveillance signs just don't have the camera saying surveillance. It says all activities are under video, right? All activity. We want everyone to know, like we have them in almost every room. Everything that happens here is under surveillance. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Maria. I'm from the housing. I had a question about, can you tell us about the parking situation?
So we have parking for staff, visitors, and guests. We have a fence line where people who are unhoused, who are driving in, they can park on the outside of that if they so choose. You can't go in and out, though, to your car for obvious reasons for security. So we don't want to be a place where there's just that type of transient movement, but you can get a parking pass with us. You can be able to stay there as long as you want to or need to.
And if they have like RVs or vehicles that they normally live in and they can't because it's super cold, can they park those in that
So
place as well?
RVs, we're not looking to be able to support it. It takes up a whole lot of space, and it's also just that safety and security issue. There's just a lot of space in there for a lot of not good things to be happening. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Jim, for coming out and providing us with this update. It's very timely, opening on Monday. So I know that the Heart Navigators are extremely excited about this opportunity, and I think it will make a big difference in our kind of continuum of housing and providing services for folks. So we appreciate all that you've done and all the very hard work that it took to get to this point.
Thank you. Look forward to giving you an update in a few more months. All right.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, so we have more along those lines today. We also wanted to take the opportunity to talk about our domestic violence safe house. It's operated by Tessa. We had originally talked about having Ann Markley, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Tessa, to come join us. But she was unable to come today. We're very excited to have Camry Allshouse here with us today. Camry is the manager for the safe house, open since, I believe, September. August.
Yes.
I know we did the opening in
Yeah,
August.
yeah.
We did the ribbon cutting. So wanted to give her a chance to come and talk about the safe house, how that's been going, maybe share some stories with us about what that's looked like. And I know there's been a lot of interactions with different community partners, and excited to hear all that is happening at the safe house as
Yes.
well.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to come and talk about our safe house. So as we had talked about before, we were open late August, and we have had quite a few clients. If you can go ahead and go to the next slide. So our breakdown of clients right now, so as of August, when we opened to today, our victimization has been 4 for domestic violence, 2 human trafficking, and 2 under sexual assault. This is a variety for us to see exactly who will be serving in the future. Again, this looks fairly small right now, but we've only been open for a couple of months. So we're very proud of the accomplishments that we've been able to make in such a short time. some of the connecting partners, so the sheriff and police department in Douglas County, we have had referrals from the HEART team and have been able to assist in providing that shelter and safety for the clients who are both experiencing being unhoused and an element of domestic violence or sexual assault. We've also had referrals from the hospital. That's another very common one for us because they're often the first line of somebody coming in to maybe not initially report that they are in a domestic violence situation, but feeling safe and comfortable and knowing somewhere that they can go is very important to helping them take that step to being open about maybe how they got into the hospital, which isn't always the case for all of our survivors. We've also worked closely with the Department of Human Services and Child Welfare. We are starting to, and this is very early in the process because right now we only have the Safe House, but we will be serving one of their clients in a clinical capacity. This is a very small but big step for us that we will start to serve community members who are not directly tied to our Safe House. We want to be able to provide clinical and legal services long-term for the entire community of anybody who has experienced domestic violence, sexual assault, human traffic, or stalking. We're slowly rolling this out, but it is something that we're very proud that we could offer to the one client in need that Child Welfare had reached out to us for. The school district, the McKinney-Vento liaison has absolutely been amazing working with us on helping the children who are in the Safe House be able to stay in their original school. Douglas County, I always is like, it's very odd because you guys have so much land and then just like pockets of cities. So for those clients who come from farther away from where our Safe House is located, it often feels for the parents very daunting to be able to get their children 20, 30 minutes away to their original schools. And our McKinney-Vento partner works hard for parents who have transportation, provide gas cards or reimbursements so that that's not a burden on our families. And if for families that don't have vehicles, finding other ways of transporting the children from near our Safe House. Of course, they don't get picked up at our confidential address, but close by in order to continue to go to their school of origin. Help and Hope is a great community partner. We've received a couple of emails from them on clients that they are hoping that we can support and help. Catholic Charities. For our human trafficking clients, we've been able to work very closely with Covered Colorado and From Silence to Saved. Covered Colorado is here in Douglas County. Their main office is in Parker, and they are absolutely amazing. They're a partner that we've utilized for that long-term stability. Our program does have an 8-week capacity, so our clients, no matter what victimization they fall under, only stay with us for 8 weeks. And for human trafficking clients, oftentimes they need more support long-term, and Covered Colorado can do that kind of long, up to a year, even longer, to support them in readjusting and relearning how to do simple things and be able to eventually go out and survive and thrive on their own. We've also had other community partners like Bad Moms of Parker and many, many more who have given us in-kind donations. That is kind of how we're run. So diapers, personal hygiene, those things are things that most of the time we're giving out immediately to our clients as they come in because they don't come in with them on their own. Again, out of the 8 clients that we've had and their families, we've had amazing success. So whether that is helping people get out of the state and back to family members that maybe they didn't have a great connection with when they were with their offender or partner, and reestablishing those connections, making sure that that's a place where they're going to feel safe and supported long-term with that family that they're reestablishing trust and bonds with. Other clients, we've worked hard on getting them employment and housing. One of our longest stays who did come through the HEART program, we were very happy that in that 8 weeks, we were able to really provide the emotional support where she was able to tell us where she wanted to work and actually ended up going to a facility that worked with disabled adults. And she was I mean, she loves that job. She loves being able to give back and work with individuals on a daily basis, doing activities and things like that for her was really important. And then we were able to, get her housing that was close by because she didn't have a vehicle. And so transportation can also often be one of our bigger obstacles here for those clients who don't already come to us with vehicles. Can you go to the next slide? Thank you. So this is our safe line number. Again, it's 24 hours, 7 days a week. We are there for holidays, weekends, absolutely everything. We want to make sure that we are able to support clients and our community partners at all times. Community partners can call with the clients if that client is hesitant to call. And I do think that because we are not a very recognizable name right now in Douglas County, a lot of the times our clients do want to be called with a community partner, somebody that they already trust, whether that's Help or Hope, the Heart Team, somebody from the hospital. They want to make sure that they're going to a safe place, and we want that too. So it's absolutely not a problem for you guys to be able to call with that client that you're referring to us. I think that it really helps build that trust and a warm handoff that we are working closely with you and can continue that work. We've had great success again with the victim advocates in the law department because they already have that relationship with our clients. So being able to continue to work and have that communication with them, I think really makes the clients be able to trust us a little bit more initially. Does anybody have any questions? Yes.
Hi, I'm Laura Hefta from Town Council in Parker.
Hi.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Yes, thank you for the kindness with Covered Colorado.
Absolutely.
They've been working hard for the past 5 years.
They are amazing. We really, we are
Yes.
appreciating our connection with them and being able to support them in whatever way they need.
And you have a lovely website too. I've just gone
Thank
to
you.
the website and it's very well done for accessing services. So the question I had was about partnering with the VA, because I do see a military component on your website. So I was hoping you would address that. Thank you.
Yes. So right now that is primarily going to be our Colorado Springs location because they have a bigger military presence, especially active. Those are relationships that we'll still build here in Douglas County. And we rely heavily on all of the partnerships that our Colorado Springs counterparts have already been able to make to kind of build on those and extend out here. Right now, we haven't had to utilize those services, but it's definitely something that we look forward to in the future. Thank you.
Just wanted to, Kirsten Swanson, Douglas County Community Foundation. I just want to say thank you to Tessa and all of the work that you've done with this group and quickly. And just a big kudos to our domestic violence. Is it a coalition initiative? I sit
Yes,
on a
yeah.
lot of them. But there's a few of us that sit on both. And I also want to, again, I know I compliment this group a lot, but as that group has come together quickly and try to make an impact quickly, we really are modeling it after how we run this group in particular and how we've been able to come together and use our skill sets to really make an impact in the community. So big compliments to you and the work that we're doing over there. And again, just another really big compliment to the success that this particular group has. And it's very much a blueprint for, I think, a lot of the initiatives and coalitions and how we will continue to really, really work together in this community. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for those comments and questions. One of the things I wanted to say, just from this group's perspective, I want to make sure that we have good access for our community partners to refer into the Safe House. I know that we've done a lot of work around working with our different law enforcement agencies to make sure that we have a good referral process that is done together,
Yes.
collaboratively.
Yeah.
And I think that has been working pretty well. Can you talk
Yeah.
to that a little bit, Cameron?
Absolutely. I think that it has, I know there was some conversations early on about kind of our assessment versus the forms that you guys use and not overlapping those for law enforcement because of discovery on any future court cases. But really, we've seen absolutely smooth transitions from when clients are talking to law enforcement, either making reports or with the HEART team, and then coming into our safe house. And one of those benefits is that, and one of our focuses was not re-traumatizing people by making them tell their story to every new face that they see. And that also can be very beneficial when, and this has happened quite a few times, when the partners are calling with the clients to SafeLine in order to make sure that they meet qualifications and get into safe housing, is that then we kind of have that break in not having the client re-explain their traumas over and over and over again in order to make a report, go see a doctor, then make their, talk to somebody at SafeLine in order to come into the safe house. And then when they get into the safe house, talk to us. We want to make sure that that's a smooth transition. And we've experienced that it has been so far. And we're happy to continue to build on that. If you guys see any points where there might be a breakdown in that, we absolutely are willing to pivot and make sure that we're supporting our clients so that they feel that it is also a smooth and seamless transition.
Just want to reiterate that from our end, that's very important to us.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure that people have access to the safe house and that feels like a very kind of easy transition for
Mhm.
them. So I think that's been very important.
Yeah.
I also want to give this group an opportunity, and Camry, you an opportunity to talk to us about maybe what is still needed at the safe house. I know that we got to the point where we're ready to open the doors,
Yep.
but maybe some additional things there that would make it feel a little more homey.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think right now our walls are still fairly bare. So art, decorations. We had DHS do a big drive, and they gave us some fake plants, and that honestly is really warming up our environment. So more of those would be great. I can't guarantee that real plants would survive, so fake ones are probably better for the safe house. But we really are looking to make it a warmer environment. So any kind of decorations that you guys have maybe in your house that you guys no longer need, we're completely fine with lightly used things. They do not have to be new. Also, as we go into the holiday season, something that we're thinking about now are holiday decorations. So we've been on Facebook Marketplace looking for fake trees that we can hopefully get for free or at a low cost. We utilize Facebook Marketplace quite a bit as a way for us to get things to, kind of build up the safe house and make it feel more homey. One of my goals is to get a basketball hoop that we can put in our parking lot because, our space is big and we are able to have so many people, but kids need some outside time. And so we definitely want to start building on that too. So really anything that will make the safe house feel like warm and inviting, a little less like a white and gray room would be amazing. Other things that we always need are just going to be things like clothing for both adults and children, underwears, bras specifically, especially because they do need to be new. Those are the one things that we can't have lightly used. So those are sometimes hard to come by and are things that we're actively looking for because right now we're like breaking open packages of underwear to hand out, and that's not exactly what we want to do. We want to be able to hand out entire packages. So those kind of things are donations that we're still actively looking for and we'll always appreciate.
Camry, can you talk about how people can make those donations?
Absolutely. You can email me directly. I do pickups right now. So I will go to wherever you are, whether that's at work. I've even gone to a couple of homes so that I can go ahead and pick up those donations and bring them back. I have business cards I'll leave here so that you guys can go ahead and email me at any time for those of you who I haven't already had communication with. And then you guys can go ahead and just direct email me for pickups.
Yes, Dan.
Yeah.
So, hi, Dan Marlowe, Help and Hope Center. We have the best thrift store in the country here.
I have seen it.
We will give you any of that stuff that you're looking for.
Well,
If you want to come and, shop and put it aside, Christmas stuff,
yes, that would
Lots
be
of-
amazing.
lots of pictures, black light Elvis, all of that. So if you want to come by, just let me know and we'll
Okay,
help you with all of that stuff.
thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Yes, thank you, Dan. That's wonderful. We are working on getting Dan connected with Ann Markley as well, so that we
I've
can
been to
make
your
some
office giving a
connections.
presentation, so I think that I have some connections in your office. I'll have them connect us, and then I'll connect you to Ann as well. Yeah.
Any other community connections that we need to make for you, please let us know.
Absolutely.
We're happy to make sure we can connect you with our different community partners. And as you have those additional needs, please continue to let us know.
Thank you. I will.
Okay. Any other questions? Sheriff.
Just real quick, Darren Weekly, Douglas County Sheriff. I served on the Crisis Center Board of Directors for many years. And even as a board member, the Crisis Center was not, it's a great organization. I'm not bashing it, but there was a need that we had in law enforcement, and your organization is finally filling that need. And I can't thank you enough because of the issues that we have on the front end of a lot of these calls. It's the law enforcement officers that are dealing with these issues. And so I can't thank you enough for all that you do, and I'd be happy to support you however I can.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. And we have seen, I mean, our law enforcement partners, you guys have really given us the most referrals right now, because again, the community doesn't have that name recognition. So we're not getting those direct calls from the clients in need. So we really depend on our partners for connecting us and giving them our name so that people know that we're a safe place to come. And we really appreciate that and have been able to support your team. Thank you.
Okay, anything else for Camry? Well, thank
Well,
you
I was
so
going to,
much.
and it's already been one of those fun mornings already. And I wanted to thank everybody, but you might be sensing a bit of a theme. I mean, between Tessa and the Aurora Navigation Campus, and of course, Family Tree and our other community partners, we really have these dedicated spaces for people that are in crisis. And we always said as a homeless initiative, we would lead with the 4 C's, beginning with compassion and being very human-centric. We have not arrested our way out of homelessness, and the sheriff is exactly right. But I share the sheriff's appreciation. I know for many years, our Board of County Commissioners was looking at how domestic violence was being addressed in our community, and no aspersions to the past. We appreciate that leadership, but can we do better? We did the analysis, and I think the work that Tessa is doing in coordination with law enforcement has really moved the needle. So we often say we don't wait to do great in Douglas County, and I know you're already taking care of so many people out there. You mentioned one thing, Camry, about people don't necessarily know about Tessa yet
Right.
in Douglas County. That's one of the reasons we're so thankful we have our Caroline Frizzell, the director of our communications department, who runs like a mid-sized news market here. Are there any other things that we could do as a county or as a board to help?
I think our name is getting out there. What I've
Okay.
seen recently within the last couple of weeks is that we've had more individual communities reach out to give donations because they've seen us, in the press releases and all of that kind of stuff in Douglas County. So I do think our name is getting out there. What I think we just have to do, and we will continue to do, is make sure that the victims, the survivors themselves, who maybe aren't in contact with partners, also understand that we are a safe place. And some of that is just word of mouth that they are understanding from the connections that they are making, whether that's in school with their kids and, knowing that we're there. And I've talked to Douglas County mental health at the schools already and given a presentation to them, because I think those are really good connections and presentations for us to make so that just word of mouth can get to the individuals who need to call us. I think that that's kind of where we're at right now, and in making sure that people know that we are going to take care of them and that they're safe to come to us. But we've seen that everything that you guys are already doing and making sure that our name is out there is really impactful. And we have been getting donations again from individuals and smaller organizations that read that we're here and then want to give to us. So
That's great. Oftentimes we say there are so many resources for people out there, but there's that cliff or that valley between the resources
Yeah.
and then knowing how to
How
access
to
them.
access them. Yeah.
We just issued our first quarterly called the Douglas County Neighbor to 180,000 folks. And, the reason we say neighbor is it's usually the neighbor test.
Mhm.
And people have heard me say that for 7 years. It's like, well, but does my neighbor down the street have any idea what we're doing with regard to X? And so if we were to ask, any of our neighbors here, have you heard of Tessa, or if there's, a spouse that is being abused and has children, do they know that they have this resource to get to? So Caroline, anything else on maybe ways in which we could connect the community to Tessa? And maybe Douglas County Neighbor is, I don't know how much you've thought about advertising or what that would look like, but I'm sure we could probably do an insert if that was appropriate.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm very encouraged to hear that you've had an increase in the last few weeks, because that's when our magazine landed, and we did have a page on Tessa
Okay.
in the opening, but happy to hold space in that publication for you. And also happy to chat offline about how we can help. I have a few contacts at the school district too. They're really great at sending out flyers and information. So
Yeah.
I think that might be.
And I think the
one
school
area.
district is a great place to start
Yeah.
for especially our clients that have children. They interact heavily with the schools. That's kind of maybe their first step. If they aren't allowed contact with other outside community members, which is also often a power and control move from their offenders, that only the school is the only organization that they have contact with, because they have to do things for their kids. So the school district is an amazing contact for us to kind of make those connections and have the school know that they can refer us to families that they think might be able to utilize our services.
Yeah, that's great. And Ruby just whispered in my ear too, we have the faith-based initiative, and that might be a good place to maybe get in front of some women's groups or others. So if you want help with any materials too, to prepare for any of that, I know they have a small staff. So
Yeah.
if you need any marketing support, we're happy to help.
Okay. Thank you so much.
How about a huge round of applause for Tessa?
Thank you.
Well, with that, getting into executive committee member updates. Are there any updates? And always glad to see our fellow elected officials here. Thanks so much for being here, you guys. We really appreciate it. Any executive committee member updates? Yes, Mayor.
Not too much in Castle Rock. We did clean out, I think, 2 encampments in September, and still doing the good work here and working hard on trying to make sure that people who need help are getting help.
That's awesome. At the partnership with Douglas County Governments last night, I had to stay 20 feet away from your vehicle backing out of that parking lot. I was like, Jason Gray, man, the hardest working mayor in Douglas County. It's incredible. I can't imagine all the coffee that you have to haul around. But no, thank you. You guys were there late last night, and then you're doing this morning. So thank you for that. Any additional member updates? Yeah, 80 works. Sasha.
Good morning. My name is Sasha Easton. I'm the director of Arapahoe Douglas Works. I have a few updates that I've referenced previously, and they're now coming to fruition. The Colorado Apprenticeship Hub. So it's a statewide network of apprenticeship consultants that Arapahoe Douglas Works manages and operates. We are releasing $3 million in apprenticeship incentive grants for businesses to expand or scale registered apprenticeships or pre-apprenticeship opportunities. So really exciting. The maximum award is $150,000. So you may remember a while back I mentioned the ABA2 grant we received from U.S. Department of Labor. This is that grant, and it's not often that we have funds available for business. So fantastic opportunity. We have more information on our website. The application window for these funds is through November 30th. And it also has a list of eligibility criteria, other details, and then a contact if you have questions. So if you have businesses that may be interested, please put them in touch with that. And then also really excited, we hired Dante Young, who some of you know. for our homeless veteran reintegration program. That's getting off the ground. We are taking referrals. We'll have a referral form so you could connect those individuals to our services. Really, it's to connect them to talent pipelines, connect them to supportive services, community resources. And again, it's those individuals that are homeless veterans or veterans recently re-engaging in the community from correctional facilities. And then we also, I had mentioned we received a adult education grant from the state, and that goal really is to scale and broaden our curriculum for GD tutoring and testing, and also adult basic education. So previously we did one-on-one tutoring, but now we're having a curriculum in a classroom setting. So really exciting for that. If you have individuals interested in those services, you can connect them to our career services team. So really exciting. So excited to have Dante on the team. And if you have any questions, please let me know.
Great. Thanks, Sasha. And you were well represented at the ribbon cutting at the community event for the Aurora Navigation Campus yesterday. So it's good to see you guys there.
Signed the MOU with Advance as well. So really
Yeah.
excited to partner and have our services in collaboration with theirs.
It's amazing. Yeah, thank you. Erin, did you have something? Yeah.
Good morning, Erin White with Manor Resource Center. We recently celebrated some graduates from our Manor Resource Center program, and I want to, if you'll indulge me for just a second, read a text message that one of our clients sent to us at graduation. And she apologized for texting because she's not great at communicating, but I think you'll agree with me that she's a really good communicator. She said, I wanted to let you know how much you guys improved my life. I was at my lowest in April when I came in for my intake. I was at an emergency shelter and honestly just so sad. I went to the Manicare food pantry, and even just having snacks felt like a comfort at that time. You guys making the referral to goals for me literally changed my life. You supporting me and talking me through things and identifying things within myself that's really helped me grow and stop patterns, so I'm never going to be in this place again. And I am so grateful. Even though I'm not so good at communicating that, I'm focused now on putting the work in, and I'll never forget what you guys have done for me. Your support has made what could have been a really tough experience for me and my daughter into something that was not so scary. I'm really so appreciative. This amazing young mom has graduated from the Goals program, is now in a transitional housing program and really thriving. So I wanted to share that because many partners in the room were part of her success.
We love hearing that's a round of applause on that. Yeah, absolutely. We love hearing those success stories. Thank you, Erin. Any additional community updates? Yes, Parker, Laura Hefta, council member Laura Hefta.
Good to see you, Commissioner Lynn. Yes, we are very happy to see the decrease in homelessness in Parker. And it's visible that there are actually less individuals as you drive around Parker right now. You don't see them, and I haven't seen anyone for about a year now, at least. So that is the really good news. Of course, as you know, the really difficult news is with this government shutdown that continues right now. We've seen a tremendous increase in folks needing help with food and basic items. I think Secor Cares is right now at capacity and has doubled the number of people they've seen for help with Parker Task Force. So if anyone is listening out there and you want to donate to those services for Colorado Gives Day, please consider your local food banks such as Parker Task Force or Secor Cares, because they could really use the help now this time of year. Thank you.
So much. Again, really appreciate all the cities and areas of interest in our community that are helping out. Dan, is that, I mean, are you experiencing that too? Are you seeing a lot more folks popping up and needing services?
Yes, lots of folks coming in, lots of extra phone calls. The thing I'll just say in terms of food supply is we track, you know, all of the food that comes in from the grocery stores and various donations. And this year, our produce has been way up and our meat has been way down. And so it's an interesting thing. I don't know what's causing it other than maybe stores are, paying closer attention to their meat inventory, that kind of thing. But that, makes it difficult to provide a more balanced nutrition, right? If you don't have the protein to give. And so I'll just add to the last comment. Cash is better than cans, right? Because we can buy food cheaper than you can get it at the grocery store. So if you make donations, if we will gladly take your can of peas or whatever it is, but if you want to write $100 check, that would be even better.
Thanks for that update, Dan. Anybody else? Yeah, Kristen.
I just want to piggyback on that. For those of you that don't know, when I take my executive director hat off, I'm a military spouse and I run the food pantry on base at Buckley. And while it's not directly located in Douglas County, a lot of those folks live in Douglas County. And I recently, with humility, reached out to Dan and C-Corps, and speaking to the cash, they both stepped up and provided C-Corps' mobile food pantry on base at Buckley to 200 families, because our food pantry cannot, we've actually had to lessen the amount that we allowed to go out in order to have the food for a longer amount of time. So the cash is really helpful because that truck costs about $4,000 for them to come on base. So yes, we love food. Cash can be really, really helpful. I just want to speak again to the amazing nonprofits that are located here in Douglas County and how we are reaching our residents and our people, even if thinking about Buckley outside of Douglas County, but realizing that our service members are there. So big thank you to Help and Hope Center. And I don't think C-Corps is here, but a big thank you to C-Corps for really stepping up in that moment. And thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you, Kirsten, to you and your family for your service and for all of our veterans. I know we have veterans here in the room, Councilmember Hefta and others just got to celebrate Veterans Day, and we can never forget Maria, all of those who have served. It's really significant. So thank you for that. Any additional comments from our executive committee? Okay, moving on to Heart, we have Tiffany Marcito online, our community services supervisor, providing an update. Tiffany?
Hello, can you hear me?
We can. Good morning.
All right, good morning. I apologize for not being able to be there in person. But you can advance to the next slide, Jen. Yeah, so just an overview of last month. We had 32 new clients that were enrolled in Heart. We were able to discharge 50 clients from the program with 26%, obtaining permanent housing. So that is a wonderful number that we saw last month. We had 13 panhandling calls. 7 were not unhoused individuals. 3 were unhoused, but from different communities outside of Douglas County. And 3 individuals were unable to be located when we got to the area. We had 0 active encampments of more than 1. And next slide. So for the referrals, we had 321 total referrals, and that is anything from public phone calls to text messages to our outreach activity when we're not actively on a call, law enforcement dispatch calls, public referral forms, and community partner referral forms. We also received 37 total phone calls from our Heart hotline that were logged, with 67 incoming text messages, totaling 19 total conversations back and forth with the individual. Next slide. Our wonderful team participated in 16 business engagements. Just going back to Caroline's numbers, our team is hard at work, letting the business community know about our team, about our posters and postcards that they can obtain, as well as our handouts don't help sign if they wish to install those on their property. We also participated in a presentation with the Douglas County Sheriff's Office at the Cherry Hills Community Church with regarding mental health and homelessness. So that was presented to their staff and how to navigate the challenges of mental health and people who are unhoused. The Douglas County High School dance team donated, I would say, a good 100 bags to our team to pass out to individuals who are ready to take that next step towards housing and stability. And really thank the team for putting together those bags during these months that are getting cold. There's hygiene items in there, socks, gloves, notepads, really wonderful donation from that team. So thank you to Douglas County High School. Some community services staff and myself went to the Metro Denver Homeless Initiative, COC stakeholder meeting a couple weeks ago, really trying to come together and collaborate with the different counties in the region so we can really have the support from MDHI with tackling the homeless crisis here in Colorado. And we also met with the Built for Zero staff with Community Solutions to see how the individual communities are moving forward with incorporating the Built for Zero framework with chronically single adults, youth under 25, along with families. So really look forward to what the coming years have for incorporating that framework into our data. Next slide, please. For our by name list for last month, we had a total of 73 individuals who are unhoused. 35 people are sheltered. That totals 9 households, 29 people, and 6 singles. 30 people are sleeping in vehicles. 21 are single adults, 1 veteran, and 3 households that total 8 people. 8 people are sleeping outside, all singles, with 1 being former military. And the next slide just breaks it down month over month and comparing our the number of individuals sleeping outside to our prior point in time counts. So a little bit elevated from the previous months, but I know the team is really working at trying to connect people with some housing solutions. And then the next slide just shows the HEART enrollment trends over the last 13 months. And definitely seeing similar month over month. And then again, October of this year, we provided 1 or more services to 52 households. So the team is really out there trying to connect as many people to services and meet their needs. Next slide. And then this graph just shows the number of total services provided over a 13-month span. Lots of connection to services, especially food and transportation and benefit assistance this last month. So great job to the team who's in the room. And then here are our referrals by location. Again, 321 referrals. 43% of those came from Highlands Ranch, 12% from Parker, 19% from Castle Rock, 13% Lone Tree, 4% Castle Pines, and 9% from the Englewood area. And then just to show the next slide, a breakdown of where the clients discharged to, we had 26% to permanent housing, like I stated before, 28% to emergency shelters, 8% to temporary housing, 8% remained homeless but out of county, and 30% were exited due to no contact. And then I wanted to share this story. It's of a woman who was a veteran that we met during our summer point in time count in July of this year. Her and her dog had been living out of her vehicle for years. Despite her difficulties, she remained optimistic into finding stability we helped her connect to regional resources for veterans in the region. And her heart navigator, Alyssa, who's in the room, referred her to Rocky Mountain Human Services. She was quickly connected to a case manager and began the process of applying for a housing voucher. In October, she was approved for her housing voucher, and last week she was approved to move into her own apartment. So she moved into her own apartment on November 4th with her little dog. She is so grateful for the help that she received from our team and from our regional partners. And just the story is a testament to resilience, the teamwork in our community, and the connection that our team has made to our community partners and regional partners. So that is all that I have to share.
Wow, so much incredible data, Tiffany. Thank you for that. Any questions for Tiffany for the Heart team? You know, Tiffany, if you want to go back a couple of slides, it looks like I don't want to overlook the big bump that we saw in October. It looks like you're providing almost double the services that you were providing in the previous month.
Yes, that is correct. We have provided a lot of food bags and food boxes to our clients that are in need with their benefits. They hadn't been able to get to the grocery store to use their SNAP benefits, so we've been able to connect with our local food banks to provide some food boxes for some of our folks that we're helping. So big thanks to them. We've also been able to provide a lot of transportation support to individuals to get to shelters, to get to appointments for DHS, for housing. So really trying to bump it up and help as much as we can.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, one of the reasons we do this is it's we can talk all day, but if we're not getting stuff done, what are we doing, right? And so it's really nice to have. I like it. It's almost the military after action report, month after month, knowing exactly where we are at and where we're headed. That 8 unsheltered homeless outside is also a bump. Do you have any thoughts around why that's increasing? And
So
Tiffany, is that the same 8 or is that a different 8 than what we saw in September?
So there is one additional person that bumped us up from September. So it was the same 7 that we saw in September, but adding an additional person for last month. But I do have to report that 2 individuals did get to a safe shelter in a different area last week. So that number will be down next month. But really trying to get people connected to permanent housing solutions. I know that another individual is also going into an assisted living here shortly. So unfortunately, some things take a little bit more time than others when there's medical needs that are occurring. And, you know, really continuing to try to build that rapport, working with individuals who are, you know, a little bit hesitant, a little bit scared. So our team has been doing a great job at, you know, trying to build that rapport and trust.
Yeah. Anything else you need from us to help with this? So it's the same 7 plus an additional person to get it to 8. Anything else you need from us to help with that number as we go into December?
I think the opening of the Aurora Regional Navigation Campus will help. Yeah. And I believe that encouraging people with that connection to the new shelter can, you know, really help individuals holistically and provide that wraparound support that maybe other shelters that they've tried in the past have not given to them. So I really hope that with the opening of the campus that we can encourage more individuals to seek shelter.
Yeah. Thank you, Tiffany. Any other questions for Tiffany? Okay, moving on to public comment. Any public comment in the room or online with regard to Anything homeless initiative? Any comment online? Okay, not seeing any public comment. We'll go ahead and close this out right on time, close to 10:30 here. It's been interesting going to the Aurora Navigation Campus a couple of times in the last few weeks. And I share Tiffany's optimism that this place is not just a shelter where somebody could go and then potentially overdose, right? It's that Jack Briggs model from the Springs of wraparound services and all of that case management that you already heard from Jim. The biggest challenge, and I shared this with the governor and Aurora Mayor and a few others and in my public comments, is how do you connect people to that navigation campus? The worst thing in the world would be to walk 20 feet outside of the Aurora Navigation Campus and there's 15 people under a bridge, right? How do they know that this place exists and that there are opportunities there? And, my response to the larger community gathering the other day was really bragging on you all and the work that the Douglas County Homeless Initiative has done in coordination with law enforcement, which is having co-response in our community is life-saving. Having clinicians that are master's level trained and beyond with law enforcement that are free for any citizen to go out and call. People are conflicted. Everybody sees the visible homelessness. And I think in other jurisdictions, there's this conflict of, do I get out of my car? Do I hand money out my window? How do I help individuals that I visibly see are literally sleeping outside? And that's not a question that doesn't have an answer in Douglas County. Here, that number. I love seeing that the text is higher than the calls this month. So good job, everybody here. I think people are texting, 67 texts. That's great. You can just for free text the HEART team and get that immediate connection. So I'm really hopeful too that the HEART team, once they get those communications, can immediately navigate to our community partners, including the Aurora Navigation Campus, which my sense is that there is no barrier to entry, immediate case management, and incentive-based, where the more you work, as you heard, the better tiers that you get. So really excited about that. And then, the other huge thing is continuing to encourage citizens, don't give out of your window. It's not safe for you. It's not safe for the people outside. And huge thanks to our law enforcement for really supporting that. I mean, it's almost a traffic control. People impeding traffic can be a dangerous situation. So very encouraged, looking forward to the holidays. This is that time of year when we're going to be working closely with our community foundation to make sure that all those in need receive services. But thank you to each of you for your dedicated volunteerism and service to our community. We really appreciate you. Thanks, guys.